Today we're going to talk about mental clarity, how to clear your mind from all the chatter. But before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am Maya G on Instagram and Maya G the GOAT on YouTube. Be sure to follow me on Instagram or subscribe on YouTube if you enjoyed this video. All right, so now we got all the regular stuff in place. Let's get started. Today on mental clarity, I'm gonna give you some tips on what I do to clear my mind. I definitely recommend outdoor workouts when you're going through some changes, if your mind is getting the best of you. As you can see in this video, I'm doing my ritual, which is usually remind myself on how short life is, running by the cemetery and keeping myself mentally connected with the fact that I'm living life on purpose, with purpose. I think a lot of us take life for granted. As you can see, the cemetery on my right, I'm in love with that run because every time I look over, it just reminds me that life is so short. And the fact that I'm able to run past the cemetery and be able to see those who've lived before me is a blessing. All right. So that was tip number one for coping or trying to get some, new energy, breathing and all that good stuff. Running, like I said, running by the cemetery is especially, it's one of my favorite things to do. It helps me clear my mind. It helps me relax. That's just my thing. And I definitely recommend outdoor for anything. So if you find yourself in a space where you're thinking a lot, you're not yourself, the best thing to do is to connect with nature, whether you go outside for a walk, whether you sit by a lake, just get close to nature because, we're part of nature. So it is written, you were created from dust and you will return to dust. So whenever you don't feel well, you want to go outside and connect hug a tree if you need to. All right, so that was tip number one. Tip number two, to coping with mental chatter and just not really feeling like yourself, which I think that this next one you should be doing anyway. But in case that it's not easy for you, it's not your norm, whatever, journaling. Okay, you want to keep a journal to kind of go over the thoughts, whatever you have going on at the time. You want to write it down, and you can probably visit it in the future to see how much progress you've made or how you've overcome something or how you dealt with something. Journaling is a very, very, very good way to deal with, again, mental chatter, getting out of your head, and so on. Number three would be communicating with a confidant. And when I say with a confidant, we're not talking about social media. Please do not jump on social media asking people what they think about your situation. Do not jump on social media to express your discord with whatever you have going on. I am a big, big advocate for privacy, so that when you get over whatever you got going on, you can forgive yourself. You know what I mean? When you're on social media, telling people about your affairs, it's a little hard for you to recover from that. So definitely stay away from social media. Hell, if you could deactivate the account, go ahead and deactivate the account. No matter what you have going on, it's really nobody's business. So tip number three, find a confidant to talk to. I don't really recommend more than one person because you can be seeking somebody just to listen, but then that person is finding themselves telling you what to do, and you want to kind of stay away from that, especially if you're in your headspace and you just want somebody to hear you out, listen to you. And depending on the severity of the situation, maybe talking to a counselor or therapist may be another option for you. So that's tip number three. Tip number four is do not go and try to drink this thing off or drug this thing off or have sex to get over whatever it is you got going on that's causing the mental chatter. In order for you to head into a healthier lifestyle, you want to start getting into the habit of actually dealing with whatever you have going on. So there's mental chatter about, your job or whatever. Take your time. Don't just get up and quit. It's mental chatter about, a disagreement you had with your partner. Take your time. Don't try to jump into somebody else's face. Take your time. Because you got to remember, feelings are like the ocean. They come in and then they go out. They always changing. Feelings are, I tell everybody, feelings are like the most temporary emotion that humans will experience. Your feelings change so much. And forget if you're a woman. And forget if you're a woman that's on that time of the month. Your feelings, your emotion, they change so quickly. You have to allow yourself the space to be able to come to terms with whatever you have going on. Again, address your mental chatter. Most women fall into some type of depression when they are on that time of, that time in the month. And you may not be aware of it, but you probably want to keep it documented on where and when do you feel like you're at a low vibration. So when I say low vibration, meaning that you're not feeling so good, your head space is not so clear. You want to take a look at that. That's very important. All right, so that was tip number, what tip? I'm losing count. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5. Final tip. I could give many, but final tip number 5, probably the most important tip of them all. If you don't know how to meditate, I know that most people know how to pray. We were taught how to pray, at least as a kid, and as you get older, your relationship with God may differ, a religious congregation or your spiritual or whatever you practice, you're Buddhist, whatever God you praise, if you praise God at all. You want to get into that space to where you want to get in touch with your higher self. And your higher self is God, because you are created in God's image. Whether you want to address that at this point in your life or you might address it later, you want to get into a space where you have conversation. I don't really call it prayer at this point, because it's a conversation, and discuss whatever issue that you're having. And and then once you have that discussion, it's really to let it go. I know there's a saying that says, let go, let God. You're still going to take action. Whatever action is required from you that you feel you need to do, you're still going to do it. But you're going to let it go in a sense that you will, if you're coming from a place of truth, matters will always work out to your best interest. If you're coming from a place of truth, I truly believe that. And the next thing I highly recommend, if you're not doing yet, it is absolutely life best cure, and that's meditation. Meditation just has a way of bringing you full circle to who you are. If you're interested in leveling up, getting to that next level of yourself, where you are very sure of yourself, you look good, you look healthy, you're showing up healthy, you're decisive, you're not all over the place, because God knows I've been that person that's confused about so much, all over the place. And as much as I might have seemed like I had it together, but I was struggling really, really, really hard with making certain difficult decisions. So meditation, it probably could be considered as tip number 6, but I'm going to keep it at 5 with prayer. 5, prayer and meditation. And remember, they're not in order of importance. They're just in order of what is your norm and which one you can actually get to without having to completely do a drastic switch. Even though me personally, I recommend drastic changes and try to stick to them for at least 21 days to recondition the mind. But that's not for everybody. Everybody has a way of learning. Everybody has a way of creating new habits for themselves. So I'm giving you 5 that you can actually use. One of those will work to help you quiet down, if not shut down, mental chatter. Oh gosh, how could I forget? Before I go, this one is very important. It's so important, I won't even put it as a tip. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it to you as a bonus, okay? Diet. Oh my God. Toxic food just have a way of making your body and your mind respond differently. So when I say toxic food, I'm talking about processed food. I'm talking about fried food. I'm talking about anything that is just not pure, like fruits or vegetables. You know, if you're having mental chatter and it is driving you insane, and all the 5 tips I gave you are too much, you don't want to do them, you just want to be able to sit down and find some clarity, this one is easy. Go on a 7-day, no meat, no processed food, no bread, none of that. Go on a 7-day diet. And guys, I guarantee whatever you have going on in your mind, it will quiet down your mind significantly. So I gave you 5 great tips plus a bonus. Try it out and let me know if it worked for you. Okay? It's been my pleasure to bring you these tips on evolving, on taking yourself and your mind along with your body to the next level. If you guys benefit from this video, be sure to share it with all your friends. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 500 YouTube subscribers before the end of the year, and I'm gonna need your help. It's been my pleasure to serve you. My name is Maya G. You guys enjoy your day, and remember, I love you.